Hello and welcome to New Central Studios. I'm Felicity Ezewiike, here with the stories making headlines beyond the continent. We'll begin the news in America, where Vice President Kamala Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her Democratic Party running mate. Harris on Tuesday said she was proud to tap Walz, opting for the Minnesota governor with blue-collar credentials as the partner most likely to boost her historic and bruising bid for the White House. Walz had been on vice presidential shortlist with a string of other Democratic figures seen as broadening Harris' appeal as she sprints into the contest against Donald Trump. Aiming to make history as the first woman president, Harris, already a trailblazer as the first female and first Black and South Asian vice president, has little time before Election Day on November 5. Let's also tell you that U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday praised the selection of Minnesota Governor as Kamala Harris' running mate. Biden made this known in a post on social media platform X, describing it as a great decision, adding that the first major decision a party nominee makes is their choice for vice president. According to him, the duo would be a powerful voice for working people and America's great middle class. Meanwhile, U.S. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance says Tim Walz is one of the most far-left radicals in the entire United States government at any level after U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris chose the governor as her vice presidential candidate. Vance, during a press conference in Philadelphia, said Harris listened to the Hamas wing of the party. Joining us now to discuss this development is a foreign affairs analyst, Bolu Michael B. Bolu, thank you for joining us. War veteran and union supporter coming into the picture as a running mate. You think this team can tilt the sides in the Democrats' favor?
Well, looking at the background of Tim Walz, and as a war veteran, as well as a supporter of workers' rights, might tilt, the tide in favor of the Democrats. It now depends on how well he is able to connect with the people and sell his message and, present himself before them. Background is not enough to win elections. There's many other factors to it, but looking at his background as a blue collar person, a supporter of workers, as well as a war veteran, will resonate with a lot of people, and that might be the game changer for the Harris campaign.
The upper Midwest is described as a critical region in presidential politics and a buffer for Democrats seeking the White House. Will the narrative be the same, or the dynamics might change?
To be fair, Walz is quite popular in his state. In fact, I don't think he's on record that he ever lost an election. He has caused some major upset, defeating incumbents and also, getting a fifth term. So it's almost sure that he's going to win in Minnesota, but that may not translate to neighboring states like, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, and the rest, that's not how politics works. A typical case study is, Nigeria. Ogun State shares border with Oyo State. Ogun State is APC. Oyo State is PDP. That's how politics is like. So I can only say categorically that he has a higher chance of winning in Minnesota, but that does not necessarily translate that he's going to take over the Midwest.
Harris and Walz are vanguards of protection for abortion rights, support for rainbow community, and generous aid to Israel and Ukraine, among other policies. Do you see these as rallying pivots for the coming election?
I don't see it as a rallying point in this election, because looking at the things that top on the minds of Americans is immigration and the economy. and the people who fall into their ideology or what they believe, their values and what they believe in. I mean, the candidate Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they have a mix and match of ideas. Some people support abortion rights but do not support the war in Ukraine. Some support the war in Ukraine, and they do not agree on another issue. So there will be conflicting ideas. A lot of people might be confused at the front of the ballot box. But when we look at the top issues, in the minds of these voters, would be the economy and and immigration. And I'm afraid the immigration seems to be something that Kamala Harris, a lot of people believe the sentiment that she failed at it. I hope it won't cost her the victory come November.
Your thoughts on the very disparaging comment from the Trump camp, his vice presidential nominees also among them. What are your thoughts about that against the nomination of Walz?
To be fair, I feel, Walz is quite controversial. If you're looking for many good things he has done, it's on record. You want to find the bad stuff as well. I mean, it's on record. Things like the Black Lives Matter riot. Approval for gender change for children, and other things that a lot of people might consider to be too extreme in terms of the woke ideology or being too liberal. But if you're looking at the good stuff as well, he has them on record. The Trump camp, they have a lot of things that they could use against him, and Tim Walz, could balance these narratives with some of the track record. For example, most of the bills he co-sponsored while in Parliament were brought forward by Republicans. He could say that could show that he can work across the board, and he's not just going to be the vice president for the Democrats, but the vice president of Republicans and the entire United States. So he really needs to, get his rebuttals ready, because the Trump campaign is going to come heavy. I personally feel that Walz is probably not the best person for Kamala to choose. I personally would prefer someone like Shapiro. But it seems like Kamala Harris chose based on the person that she had the most chemistry with, and that may not be enough to lead the country. You need somebody that can tell you the truth, even if it's going to hurt.
Bolu, thank you for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Away from that, coastal South Carolina and Georgia were under flash flood warnings Tuesday as Tropical Storm Debby swamped the southeastern United States, leaving at least 5 dead. Debby made landfall on Monday morning as a Category 1 hurricane in the Big Bend region of Florida's Gulf Coast. The National Hurricane Center warned of a life-threatening flood threat as the slow-moving storm drops torrential rains. Michael Brennan, director of the NHC, had said it is a level 4 out of 4 risk for excessive rainfall and is going to result in a prolonged extreme rainfall event with potential for catastrophic flooding across coastal portions of Georgia, South Carolina, even extending up into North Carolina. We'll go on a short break. We have more stories for you. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Let's now bring you some updates on the rising tensions in the Middle East. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the United States is working around the clock to prevent escalation in the Middle East and urged Israel and Hamas to break in, his words, the cycle of violence through a ceasefire. With Iran believed to be planning a retaliatory strike against Israel following the killing of a top Hamas leader in Tehran, Blinken said that escalation would only lead to more conflict, violence, and insecurity. He said a ceasefire would unlock possibilities for more enduring calm, not only in Gaza itself, but in other areas where the conflict could spread. Israel has called on countries not to transfer funds to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees, as the funds will likely be used to support terror. Israeli government spokesman David Mensa made this known during an online briefing. Vance's comments come after an internal investigation led by the UN agency revealed that 9 of its members participated in the October 7 attack. Initial accusations by Israel had led many governments, including top donor, the United States, to abruptly suspend funding to the agency, threatening its efforts to deliver aid in Gaza. Several countries have since resumed payments. Still in the region, Russia's National Security Council secretary has made his first visit to Tehran amidst fears of a wider war in the region following last week's killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran. Sergei Shoigu, Russia's ex-defense minister, set to meet senior military and security officials as well as new President Masoud Pezeshkian to discuss strengthening bilateral cooperation in a wide range of spheres, including security. Russia has strongly condemned the killing of Haniyeh, the political leader of the Islamist Palestinian movement Hamas, last month. The visit to one of Russia's key political allies underscores Shoigu's continued significant role with Pezeshkian, describing Russia as a valued strategic ally. We head now to Europe, where the Superintendent Ross Dowie of Devon and Cornwall Police has commented on the recent violent unrest in Plymouth, one of the latest UK cities to have been hit by far rights rioting. The police superintendent reassured the community that the police is fully resourced to handle the situation. On her part, Justice Minister Heidi Alexander said the government has freed up an extra 500 prison places and drafted in 6,000 specialist police officers to deal with the violence and arrest. Prime Minister Keir Starmer also reassured the nation that action was being taken. Some sports now. Nikola Jokic led Serbia into the men's Olympic basketball. Armand Duplantis broke his own world record in the men's pole vault at the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Swedish athlete cleared 6.25 meters on his third attempt, following his gold medal win earlier in the competition. This achievement marks Duplantis' 9th world record and cements his status as one of the most dominant athletes in the sport. The athlete had already secured gold by clearing 6.0 meters, making him the first back-to-back Olympic champion in men's pole vault since American Rob Richards in 1952 and 1956. And that's all we have for you on Beyond the Continent. Do send us your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media at News Central TV. You can also watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned for more programming here on News Central.